Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is game 2 between Herbmon and Sterling. Up right in corner, we got Sterling starting as the orange Terran. Bottom left hand corner, we have Herbmon starting as the pink Zerg. I do believe this is... I'll have to look over the rest of the round, the first round, but I feel like this is actually the most balanced matchup between in round 1. And I could see this going either way. I feel like Herbmon has really... He's gotten into Ghostly League, I believe. He's done very, very well. He is, I think, he's definitely been hitting A, and I think he's on the precipice of S. There's just like a few things here and there to make it there. And Sterling's not that far off. Sterling's had some really good runs in tournaments in particular. So I'll be curious to see how Sterling does. I don't think I was able to track how far Sterling went in the tournament outside of some play on the... I'm trying to remember if he made it to the main stage. I might have missed games if he did. Anyway, this is going to be on Eclipse, which I have properly named. I've actually got this really cool little screen thing I'm proud of to update the scores and everything in the bottom left-hand corner. If that is off, it is entirely my fault, and I apologize. And we'll try to make sure I'm adjusting it in between. But being on Eclipse, being more of a macro-oriented map, I could definitely see this favoring Herbmon in comparison to Sterling if he goes mech once again. Granted, the natural expansion easy to hold with mech, and it's a bit of a smaller... Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to take that back. I could see mech being very, very strong on this, mostly because you have this high ground where you can pick a lot of fights. It's difficult for Mutalisks, which inevitably end up being a factor in most instances versus mech. Can have some trouble here going in and out of the darkness. Granted, there are artifacts for the Mutalisks to engage the Goliaths against in certain positions, but there's basically areas for Goliaths to hold, and it's an okay distance, but it's not a mega distance. I will say, if it comes to not being able... Usually with mech, what you're trying to do is you're just trying to overwhelm the Zerg early. You're hoping to get the early kill and just basically keep hitting, and it's kind of just... It's usually like a big cumulative macro fight, and then whoever wins that first fight, usually that ends up kind of being the depiction for the rest of the match. That being said, we... I think that was a 2-0 something gas. I think that was after... Was that after... That was a very fast gas. Extremely fast gas from Herbmon, by the way. So, and he went pool first as well. I'm not sure if that was over pool or not, but getting some additional Zerglings that maybe going to go for this again. SCVs have been pulled this time on the ramp to go ahead and negate the early game Zergling pressure. That will help make up the economic difference a bit, as the Zerglings are now away. But a quick tech to layer as far as a follow-up. So Herbmon actually might end up ahead in the overall tech battle. It looks like as far as where things are teching. So I think Herbmon throwing some curveballs to Sterling to throw him a little bit off his standard mech game. But that is at a small economic cost. A couple Zerglings holding the ramp in the meantime, making sure that SCV isn't going to be able to sidle in to get pure information, by the way. And Sterling going to go ahead and grab that command center, which actually with the 3 Marines holding on the front should be... and actually still hasn't grabbed his gas. So is he going to go Marine right this second? So Zerglings spot the Marines. The Overlord's not in position as of yet. And it looks like Sterling, so where I've heard Sterling plays mostly mech in the past, it looks like this time he is opting to, well, so he's grabbed gas. He still has the option, but with this gas, that could just be for engineering bay shenanigans or things along those lines. We'll have to see. The question is do we see, and the barracks is not continuing to flash, so actually I take that back. Looks like it's going to be 4 Marines, that's it. Probably a climb to 200 gas, and then never mind, there's an academy in the midst of this. So, but a few missed little cycles there of Marines. A bit of a supply block here, I think, right this second as well. Never mind, a decent second. There's a little bit of a supply block opposite side from Herbmon for just about half a second. Nothing insane, but Herbmon, Sterling able to get to the natural expansion, at least see saturation there, see lack of a sunken colony. I think Herbmon, seeing that barracks glowing, knows he's not going up against any sort of mech transition. I'm expecting maybe a 6 Marine push out, something along those lines. There's the second barracks. Never mind. So this would have been the 6th timing to just lift it off and go. So it looks like it's instead going to be a medic Marine push. Unfortunately, and an attempted rapid one as well. Unfortunately for Sterling, he might be playing right into Herbmon's hands, because Herbmon is going Lurker Tech rather than going for Spire, as is more typical. He's got a decent amount of Zerglings covering the front to make sure that these lurkers Well, these hydralisks right this second, but the soon-to-be lurkers will not be scouted. I believe the lurkers will be fielded before Stim is ready. So unless Sterling lifts off and moves right this second, and the other thing is Herbmon, so he's down economically. So it's a bit of a risk for Herbmon as well, because he invested a good amount out of this as well. And I'm just realizing he left a gap to the corner instead of going for full seal, so he doesn't need to lift the barracks as well. So there's the 2 medics. Here's the lurkers morphing. They're going to be halfway finished. There's a big opportunity for a trap, but did Sterling, I'm not sure if Sterling comsatted and saw, okay, I think he saw it for sure. There's the bunkers getting dropped in a hurry, expecting a lurker bust. Now, medic walking forward, I don't know if that was intentional from Sterling or not, but the medic doesn't end up losing its life. Here come the lurkers, however. No detection as of yet. There's the missile turret. First lurker dropping at a distance. 2 lurkers sharking nearby. It looks like that missile turret is going to finish, but Herbmon, go ahead and get rid of the vision here, on the edge where, granted, the 2 bunkers are there, but these two supply depots are going to get dropped, and you have kind of like a soft contained situation. Herbmon now grabbing that 9 o'clock base and dropping a 4th hatchery in the midst of this interior to his own base. So it's kind of like a 4-hatch unit composition as far as the follow-up. Sterling also in the red, so he's going to be halted for a bit of time. The Marines pulling out of the bunker just in case there's a dive and needs to stim, but Herbmon is not playing this as an all-in dive. He's playing this as just a get a bit of a containment going, wreak a little bit of havoc sort of play. We are seeing a pretty fast factory in response to this. It looks like we are seeing a 3rd, no 4th barracks as of yet. I was expecting actually to see the 4th barracks proper. The barracks moving up to the north just so lurkers aren't sniping Marines potentially as they spawn. That does lessen the cruft on the front. Second gas also getting grabbed from Sterling. That does lessen up the cruft at the natural expansion, but it provides a little bit more space to get units fielded and potentially block the high ground just in case. Lower lurker forcing cancellation on that lower bunker. And unfortunately for Sterling, Herbmon, if you want, let's see if Herbmon go. Yeah, I think he's just going to transition this into some drone cycles. One thing Herbmon has been missing is he hasn't really pushed the overall worker count. He's kept that worker count fairly low off these bases, but he's secured that 3rd gas, and he's in prime position to get a very rapid hive. And I will be interested to see actually the timing of the initial science vessels versus the initial defiler with all of this. Also, we're seeing I want to say half-hearted, a pseudo transition to mech in the midst of this. Usually, oftentimes for a strong dedication to mech, you'll see 2 factories rather than just the single factory, but it's going to be 3 barracks, a single factory, and maybe double starport behind this. I don't know if there's enough gas to make that happen. Maybe a single starport behind this. And I'll also be curious to see whether Sterling opts to, I don't see him dropping the armory, so I presume he is still going to go science vessels in the midst of this, but there's still the option of this, the Mutalisk swap from Herbmon. And yeah, we have no turrets in the backfield, so Sterling getting caught off guard and ends up losing control of that natural expansion. He has got lots of Marines though, so did he take out a Mutalisk? Got some decent damage done at the very least. Ooh, running into a bit of a clog trap, but now that natural expansion gas has been shut down. Herbmon focusing on that, and now he's surged that worker count and is sitting pretty, honestly. Hive about to finish. Do we have, looks like the science facility is going to finish in the midst of this, but Herbmon doing a great job. He's in a really strong position. He's now pushing the 40 drone mark, which is a very scary marker when you don't have control of your natural expansion. But you have siege tanks on the front, but still no access to that natural expansion gas. Comsat on the front, tanks are sieging up. That may have been a little bit of an early Comsat, the Zerglings peeling forward. 1 lurker goes down, 2nd Comsat dropping to try to open things up. Supply counts are fairly close. Does Herbmon have enough defense is the next question. So we've got a pretty sizable attack force and growing on this side. I presume Sterling, having all the damage that's done up to this stage, is just going to go for a move. Herbmon grabbing a hatchery at the 5 o'clock location on top of this. But Sterling, I would be interested to see if Sterling just goes. A lot of the medic marines, never mind, a lot of the medic marines thinning. They're trying to deal with the Mutalisks behind that natural and allow the missile turrets to field. Missile turrets are now up. Herbmon has bought himself a lot of time though. He's got the defiler mound up. Consume is on the way. has not morphed any additional lurkers. My one concern for Herbmon in the midst of this would be a move out from Sterling and him not having just an abandoned counterattack is basically what comes down, which we see maybe right this second. Yeah, some additional units being moved, because right now, okay, we got a lot of lurkers being morphed. We do not have a Defiler out as of yet. Oh, never mind, there's the first Defiler. We don't have enough energy for a Dark Swarm just yet, so there is a world where there's not enough to cover one of these bases. I don't know that this base would survive if it was detected. This was a little bit greedy, potentially. The Mutalisks also have been thinned. That Overlord gonna die midfield. That puts Herbmon in the red at a very, very tender moment. Creep Colony being dropped as well to try to buy some time. Greater Spire morphing to maybe get some Guardians here over that edge. Consume is finished, and now things are looking dire for Sterling. Nice Dark Swarm. Science Vessel gets wiped out. Man, things not going Sterling's direction. Tank sieging in the background. Herbmon's still supply blocked in the midst of this. But, and we do have a dropship. Herbmon sees it. Does he have anything to deal with it, though? We have Scourge nearby. Oh! Land before anything is able. Nothing going right for Sterling this game. Absolutely nothing. And shortly, Greater Spire is going to finish. We've got this base at the 5 o'clock location, which has mostly been a null factor. But that's still operational for Herbmon right this second. Right now, you can only effectively defend it by having it not be scouted. Nidus Canal up at the 9 o'clock. No Nidus otherwise. There's the cocoon of additional morphing units. And Sterling in a spot of trouble. Might be able to wander up, get that Overlord at the very least. Herbmon's actually had a lot of supply blocks in the midst of all this. And I'm kind of curious, where has he just invested that elsewhere? Ultralisk Cavern dropping. He's doing everything this game, it looks like. Just going all over the place. Ooh. Medic Marines pressing in. Plague getting dropped. Looks like he researched Plague on top of everything else. Herbmon has the entire tech tree right this second. The entire tech tree for Zerg. Even building a Devourer to make sure he got... I wonder if he gave himself like a special challenge where he's like, okay, I'm going to get every unit in this game that Zerg can create. Maybe he gets an infested Terran as well by going for this command center. Sterling's natural expansion once again getting wiped out. He still hasn't managed to get that third up and running, and now in a lot of trouble. I mean, he was in a lot of trouble before, but this is it's getting worse and worse. Overlords. They move like Overlords. Guardians look like they're going to get taken out. One able to peel off as it is irradiated. Oh, don't get close to your friends right there. Oh, is it going to result in a kill? It's going to be a double kill. It's going to be a double kill. Got one and was able to damage another. Devourer wandering up just to show off that it's there. I think that was to counter Wraith if there was a Wraith transition. Some Zerglings and Defilers have moved up to the upper right-hand corner. It looks like the Marines that were earlier plagued, and it looks like they've been healed up by the medics trying to make their way that direction. The Zerglings able to get in the midst of this. Acid Spores on top of that Science Vessel. Dark Swarm at the ramp. As the SCVs are making the way across, they're going to have to turn around and make their way back home. The Guardians making their way back in the midst of this. And unfortunately, yeah, I'm looking for... And Plague on the command center. Are we going to see a Queen built to infest this? Because the Plague does drop that command center health pretty rapidly, and the easiest way to cap it after that is with the Queen. At which point, with an infested unit, that would be full game. But anyway, Herbmon now mining at the 5 o'clock location. Sterling in dire straits. I don't know that he has enough. And what are his upgrades? He's got +2 weapons, nothing else. Only +1 armor at the very least. That's something. But we have some Ultralisk being fielded. We've got a lot of additional macro hatcheries. Yeah, Sterling gonna GG right there. Okay, Herbmon going to advance to the next round. Herbmon putting on a little bit of a clinic there. It was really... the very good mixing it up play and very manner between these two. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks for listening.